I'm doing another one of these. I know I said I wouldn't in the last one because it's stressful. It took me months to complete, but this one only took me a few weeks, and I limited myself to drawing only 3 characters. So that's what I'm doing here. I know I'm a filthy liar, but I was bored and I wanted to do this, so I did. Yay! I think the next one I'm going to do for this, if I do another one at all, is I'm just going to pick one OC to draw, and it's going to be like a contest, and I'm going to put a lot of effort into just drawing that one OC. If you want to be a part of that, I suggest subscribing to me so that you can see whenever I post that I'm about to do that, because I'm only going to do it once. Probably. No, seriously, you should subscribe. Our first OC for today is Lady Lionfish, owned by Dragon G 1932. Yeah, go away. Female, strong, a fighter, doesn't back down, will die and kill for family, acts less like an heir and more like a warrior, enjoys swimming, favorite food is whale, don't disrespect lionfish or she'll make you regret it. I'm really glad that for the Sea Wing remodel we got some new colors. I mean, I sort of had mixed feelings about it because I've seen some Sea Wings that are fully rainbow neon colors, and I feel like that's not canon. But I think this morph utilizes the new color palette really well as the new jewelry. I do think the septum ring looks a little bit weird, but like, it's a dragon, what are you gonna do? Now for her face scales, the gem embed accessory almost made it look spirally, and I don't know if that was intended or not, but that's what I ended up drawing because I thought it might look cool. I'd also like to say I'm really proud of how the talons turned out looking on this, because hands or paws of any sort are always a hit or miss for me. They're either really good or really bad. I'm also just not used to drawing hands in dynamic poses. Enough about me though, back to the character. I really like how Lionfish is portrayed as an heir, but also rebellious, and like she doesn't want to be that. She almost reminds me of the trope of the cool aunt who like has a leather jacket and motorbike, and like the cool aunt basically. I also like that despite her social/aesthetic rejection of royal family standards, I suppose, she still is willing to be part of said royal family in order to protect them. And I think that's a really cool trait to have, that even though she's her own person, or her own dragon rather, even though she's her own individual and she prioritizes that, she's not completely distant and cut off from her family. She still loves them and wants to protect them. You can really only say so much in a character's bio, but I think that this character is really well done and I would like to know more about her. Like, if there were a webcomic featuring Lady Lionfish, I would read it. Now for the color palette, I really like how it's done here with the whites and the reddish pinks. Notice here I made the white kind of a light bluish color because that's what I color picked, but I'm not sure if that's just due to how the colors were displayed on my monitor and lighting effects in game, you know. But I think the contrast of the colors makes it look pretty good here. I like how simple it is. Like, there's really only 2, maybe 3 main colors, but even with that it still looks really good. Also, you can probably, in the background of me talking, you can hear a distorted guitar sound. That's my brother. He's in the basement next to me. He's practicing, and he does this all the time. There's no way to get around him. Anyway, here you can see me struggling to get the glowy scales to look right. This took me like 4 tries to get them to match both the ref and what I wanted it to look like in my head. That, with accidentally putting a lot of it on the wrong layer, meant that it took way longer than I wanted it to. Yeah, and I'm putting her underwater because I'm lazy and I didn't want to have to do complicated lighting. And besides, according to her bio, she enjoys swimming anyway. And if it means I don't have to do quite as much work, then I'm gonna do it, you know? And I forgot to do the royal pattern, so I had to add them in with my finger on my phone while I was on a very long car trip. Yeah, here she is. I hope you like how she turned out. I'm actually pretty proud of how I did this. Dragon G, if you want me to send you a higher quality version of this image, then comment on this video and we'll work something out. Alright, this is Ocean the Sea Wing, property of Fira at Foxy4Ever06. Ocean was raised in another dimension, goes on morning swimming, and likes to drown enemies. I'm gonna be honest, this was actually kind of a tough one to do in terms of posing, because I tried to do some kind of front-facing almost, but I am really bad with perspective. I would like to extend a warm thank you to my Bible study hosts for having a Great Dane that I can use as a pose model for a lot of the dragons that I draw, and she has proved very invaluable in this and many other drawings. Again, I also am very proud of how I did the talons on this one. I think that they ended up way better than I thought they would. As well as, surprisingly, the left wing there. I'm counting that as a direct blessing from God that I was able to get it to look right. Anyway, about the actual character itself, I did a double take when I saw it because I have an OC that looks almost identical to this in a way. Slightly different shades of green and blue, but it's got that same green on top, blue underbelly. I actually need to update her model in WAF Beta because I haven't done that since the Sea Wing remodel. Anyway, I think it's really interesting that he was raised in another dimension, and it makes me curious, like what other dimension would that be? Would that be the human world? Like, you know, our world? In this other dimension, would he have been a dragon? Which dimension did he originally come from? I have a lot of questions about this, and I am actually like, I really want to know the lore for this. So Vera, if you're watching this, please let me know the lore of the character in the comments, because this is actually really interesting. Now onto the colors. I did not have time to finish coloring this before I had to leave on my big long car trip, so I ended up having to do this with my finger in the car, which I find really difficult because for whatever reason I can't get pen pressure. It might just be a browser thing because I'm in Safari, because I'm unfortunate enough to have an iPhone. Seriously, I have major beef with Apple over a lot of iPhone things. Or even just that you've noticed that on the computer even, I was drawing on a Mac. Like, that's a new computer to me. Everything is completely different from what I'm used to. It doesn't make sense. I don't like it. There's no way to plug in my drawing tablet. There are no USB ports on this actual computer. I have to get a USB-C adapter, which in my opinion is ridiculous. Almost everything uses just a regular USB plug-in, so why have USB-C? At least it's not a lightning connector. Also, last night my dad actually accidentally lost the adapter, so I'm not going to be able to draw for a while until we either get a new one or find the one he lost. And don't get me wrong, I have my problems with Microsoft in Windows as well, but at least I knew how to use them and get around those problems for the most part. At least Windows is slightly adaptable and user-friendly, and like, I can make changes to my settings and stuff, but with Apple, like, I don't know how to do any of that yet, or even if it's even possible. In terms of operating systems, I prefer Windows to Mac, but in terms of company, I still have the most beef with Microsoft. I had a Linux PC for a while, and I really liked that. I wasn't able to do as much on it because not everything is supported by Linux, or at least Linux Mint, the version that I had. I think Ubuntu supports more, I don't know. Anyway, this is not about my beef with various tech companies and products. This is about this drawing and this character. I tried to be more efficient with the scales and making them glow better by actually filling in the lines manually, and it sort of worked. Yeah, and I was lazy with the shading again, just by making the scales glow so I wouldn't have to add as much actual shadow. I know I didn't do it exactly right, but I mean, it looks okay, I guess. Because I don't have pen pressure on my phone, I was just using the calligraphy brush, because that almost looks like pen pressure if you squint. And here he is. Foxy Forever, if you want me to send you a high quality version of this, just let me know in the comments and we'll figure it out. Alrighty, for the last one we have Moonlight the Ice Wing, property of I Eat Worms ZZZ at 8510 Tsunami. Slavic accent, personality very cold. Introverted, doesn't really like talking or socializing. Likes swimming, coldness, polar bears. Hates heat, fish, and sandwings. She lived in the castle in the Ice Kingdom most of her life and just recently decided to venture out to explore. I ended up drawing her after I got back from my long car trip so I could actually use my drawing tablet, and it went a lot quicker. Or rather, it felt like it did at least. You can see here that I'm having trouble figuring out what the thing on her head is. The actual accessory itself is a flower crown, but it's all black, so I don't know. I thought it kind of looked like feathers, so I tried to kind of make it ambiguous looking. I think I did the horns really nicely as well. So about the character itself, I think it's really neat that she has a Slavic accent. I know canonically Icewings are supposed to have accents, but I always kind of interpreted that to mean that they were British for some reason. I don't know why. It doesn't actually make sense for them to be British. It's kind of funny though. A Slavic accent actually makes a lot more sense for Icewings. I'm going to interject here and just say I hate drawing Icewing spikes. They're so difficult to get right. I've noticed something about all three of these characters actually. All three of them have the gem embeds around the eye, and all three of them enjoy swimming. I guess that would make sense given these are the two most aquatic tribes, I guess. I mean, I've seen some people headcanon Icewings having fur, but like seals have fur and stuff, so I don't know. And I'm pretty sure that they do swim in canon. You know, since it's mentioned that Moonlight used to live in the palace, it occurs to me that they really should add like the circle necklaces for Icewings. You know how whoever's in the palace are supposed to wear the circle necklaces, right? I feel like they need to add those to the game. Also, I know this is kind of all over the place in terms of my commentary, but I just really love the colors on this. I'm really glad that they expanded the Icewing palette to be a little bit darker, because then you get really nice gray-blue morphs like this. It took me a few tries to get the gradients right, but I think I did okay in the end. And the black accessory accents actually really bring out the darker colors and make them look really nice. And it's occurring to me now that I don't think that she was wearing an earring. I think that might be the string from the flower crown showing up on the morph, maybe? I don't know. And if you can't tell, I struggled doing the inner parts of the wings on this. I don't know why I decided to do the wings like this for the video. I've never done them like this before, and I likely never will again because it doesn't even look good. I need to just stick to my regular style for once. I decided to kind of put her in a cave because it says that she really hates the heat and is probably cooler in a cave, and maybe being in a colder place will like remind her of home a little bit, because I kind of get the sense that she would be a bit homesick but unwilling to admit it, you know? Or like equally homesick and wanting to be away from home. I would be curious to know what her actual feelings about this are, and just like her story in general. Alright, here she is. I eat worms. If you're watching this and you want a higher quality version of the image, just let me know in the comments and we'll work something out. Thanks so much for watching this. If you're interested in possibly participating in the One Winner OC contest that I'm going to be hosting pretty soon in WAF Beta on Roblox, definitely subscribe and keep an eye out for the community post and video that I will be putting out beforehand so that y'all can know when it is and have a chance to participate. There will only be one main winner who will get the full body, super detailed background and all drawing of their OC, but depending on how many people end up entering, the other people in the contest will get headshots of their OCs. So yeah, keep an eye out in my community posts and videos for that. It'll probably be within the next week or two. We'll see. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, God loves you, I love you, and have a nice day / night / whatever.